In our ongoing series of the state of our seas, we're going in depth on shark sightings in our waters. But are there really more sharks, or are we just seeing them more often? Reporter Sophia Hernandez and photojournalist Ishmael Lewis are now speaking to shark experts, fishermen and others about what's really happening in our waters. And we want to make sure you know some of the images you're about to see show the unedited reality of shark behavior in our waters.
Surprised me there's 5 times now as many as there used to be.
It's videos like these that you've likely seen everywhere.
We go into spots, where, there'll be 100 fish around sometimes and you're catching them left and right, and these sharks have just moved in, and I mean, they're almost eating them every time you go to these spots now. You almost don't even want to fish there because it's so bad.
We are here in the Florida Keys at Bud and Mary's Marina. The owners tell me that their waters are a hotspot for sharks.
The last 5 years in particular, it has been an insane influx of sharks, a lot more of them, a lot more aggressive in areas we've never seen them before.
Nick and Rick Stanzik run Stan's Fishing. Their family has been running this marina for years. With more than 200,000 followers on YouTube, people come far and wide to fish in their boats on our coastal waters. But lately, the bites just aren't there.
They have days they cannot catch a snook. They could see 6, 8 big giant lemon sharks back there, bull sharks, and they're eating 90% of the fish they hook, and they will try to move spots, and they don't leave. They will stay behind the boat 10, 20 feet back.
The brothers say they aren't sure what's behind the influx in shark sightings and interactions. So we sat down with Dr. Catherine McDonald to find out, are there really more sharks in our waters?
I would say that when we talk about an increase in shark sightings, often what we're talking about is an increase in eyes out for sharks more than an increase in sharks.
The director of the University of Miami's Shark Research and Conservation Program says there was also research to suggest some protected shark populations are showing rebounds, but it's not as high a number as you might think.
So sharks in general are slow growing and relatively slow reproducing compared to other fishes. And so sharks are more vulnerable to being overfished than a lot of other species of fish. For that reason, shark fisheries management is always a little bit extra tricky.
According to NOAA, U.S. shark fisheries are some of the most regulated in the world. In Florida, you are able to catch 1 shark a day, up to 2 per boat, but only certain species. Some have to be a certain size. The practice of shark finning, removing a shark's fin and dumping the rest at sea, has been prohibited nationwide since 2000. 20 years later, Florida made it illegal to import, export, or sell shark fins in the state, except if you were a permitted commercial fisherman or seafood dealer. It's better than where we were, but for some, it's not good enough.
If a shark is a legal catch, we should be able to sell every part of that shark. And to be honest with you, for me, I feel it's kind of disgusting that a piece of an animal that we harvested is getting thrown away.
Robert Navarro, better known as Fly, is a fisherman who organizes big game fishing tournaments around the world. He believes harvesting the whole shark, as you would a fish, is a solution and could help keep numbers of sharks at bay. But his concern is less with the sharks and more about how the sharks are affecting us. He says now it's the fisheries, but it could soon become a tourism issue. That's because of headlines of sharks biting people, many that we've covered on Florida 24, causing those who come to our waters to be fearful.
Now they start calling for something to be done with the sharks, and I don't want to see that happen. It's not the sharks' fault. This is just a management issue. But when you're having this much interactions, you have a lot of people that start getting some animosity, and you have to be careful where that line gets drawn.
While there may be slightly more sharks in our waters, Dr. McDonald re-emphasizes it's more to do with climate. Our warmer waters, which have been getting warmer every year, impact sharks' migratory patterns, but also their metabolism. They have to eat more in order to stay alive. While some may want to take drastic measures to stop these fish, this researcher reminds others of their important role.
Sharks both prey on their prey species, which helps to control those populations, but also shape their evolution. And they constrain the behavior of their prey. So if you remove sharks from an area, you run the risk that prey species will not only increase in number, but also change their behavior in ways that might be harmful to that ecosystem.
For those who make a living on their catches of the day, sharks have become a newfound challenge, hurting their bottom line, restaurants, and the food market. A solution they propose is potentially eating sharks, similar to countries like Indonesia and Spain. But whether that becomes a reality, only time will tell.
Killing a shark is so taboo and has been publicized to be so bad. But that's not the truth here anymore, especially in South Florida. You can tell anybody you talk to down here is going to tell you the last few years how many more sharks they see, how many more they deal with, and they're going to be frustrated, no doubt about it.
Sophia Hernandez reporting.